The point of Bitcoin is to fix the money, and money is energy, and energy is life. And if I keep sucking the energy out of the economy, I'm sucking the oxygen out of your system. Either under the best case, you perform poorly. Under the worst case, I suffocate you to death or freeze you to death. That's the problem. That's why empires collapse. That's why economies collapse. And the problem, it's not just a problem for an individual. It's not just a problem for a family. It's a problem for every institution. It's a problem for every company. It's a problem for every city, every municipality, every government, every civilization. They all have this problem. And you can generally trace the problem to, I fought a war I couldn't afford to fight, and I paid for it with money I didn't have.
Bitcoin will save you from the total collapse that is coming. That is the message out from Michael Saylor. Throughout history, various forms of money have been used, including seashells, gold, and paper currency. And while these have been useful throughout history, the main problem with traditional currencies is inflation, which occurs when the currency supply increases faster than the economy's capacity to produce goods and services. This decreases the currency's value and purchasing power over time, and has happened to every single currency in the history of humanity. In one of his interviews, Michael Saylor describes Bitcoin as the greatest solution to the issues inherent in traditional currencies. He states that Bitcoin is the world's first engineered monetary system, emphasizing its unique design as a decentralized digital currency with limited supply. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where Saylor explains why Bitcoin has the potential to revolutionize global finance and reshape the way we perceive and interact with money. Also guys, if you want to stay most up to date on the crypto and Bitcoin world, make sure to subscribe to my daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It gives the latest expert predictions, any breaking news, and top on-chain analysis all in a nutshell. Click the first link in the description to join over 50,000 others in becoming a better crypto investor right now. Now here's Michael Saylor with his expert insights on Bitcoin and traditional money.
What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is the first engineered monetary system in the history of the human race. Full stop. So now to explain it, the first question is, what's money? The second question is, what's the problem? And the third question is, what's the solution?
Right.
Bitcoin is the solution. Now go back to the beginning. What is money? Well, an economy consists of goods, services, and property. I want you to do something for me. I want that product. I want you to manufacture something for me. I want that house. I want that land. That's half the economy. Now the question is, how do I send 37 horses to you? And then how do we keep the books balanced? So you have to send me back money. Money is socio-economic energy. Money is monetary energy, or it's the energy, the backhaul energy that we use to trade with. If I can send you 10 bushels of corn and you can send me money equal to 10 bushels of corn, then we can trade with each other. So in the history of the world, human beings have tried different monies. We've used seashells. We used the giant stone coin of the Yap people. We used tobacco bales in colonial America. We've used copper coins, silver coins. We've used stone coins. We use glass beads in Africa. These are all types of money. Eventually, we got to settle on gold and gold coins as money, but gold was never fast enough as money. How do you move 10 tons of gold from here to there? So ultimately, people used ledgers, and those ledgers were issued by a merchant, or they were issued by a mayor, or they're issued by an emperor. And, you can go back 5,000 years and you can find Sumerian tablets in clay where they've etched in like 37, bushels of oats in return for something. These were the ledgers. So the problem with money is, how do we keep track in a fair distribution of who owns a claim to what? If there's $100 million worth of capital in the economy of products and property and corporations and the like, you have to have $100 million of money. Now, if I issue $100 million of currency, it equals all the stuff in the economy. Now, if I start to inflate the currency and I issue another $10 million,
yes,
now I've taken 10% of the economy and given it to my friend. That's the inflation rate. If I keep inflating the currency, if I double the amount of currency, but the amount of stuff in the economy is constant, well, then the price of everything that's scarce and desirable doubles.
yes.
Okay, if it's not scarce and desirable, it won't go up, but if there's 100 things and there's 10 times as much money, it stands to reason that the things cost 10 times as much. So money is economic energy. The problem is inflation. Because in the history of the world, we have inflation. When the Romans created gold coins, they started with a certain amount of gold and they would debase the currency, right?
Yes.
They would cut the amount of gold or cut the amount of silver in the coin. And when they cut it to a small enough level, no one would take the coin anymore. So the mercenaries don't want the coin. The emperor can't pay the mercenaries. The empire topples. If I just issue you paper, whatever the paper might be, and then I triple the supply of the paper, eventually the currency collapses. So the problem with currencies in the history of time is the trust in the issuer. You're trusting an individual, right? You're either trusting a banker, a JP Morgan, or you're trusting a family, the Rothschilds, or you're trusting a king or a prince, or you're trusting a mayor, or you're trusting a government. Now, if we look at the modern era, economists like Saifedean Ammous, who wrote the Bitcoin Standard, he estimates that the inflation rate in the modern era, dollar weighted, is 14%. Okay? Think about that. For the last decade, on average, all in the world, we've been inflating the currency by 14% per year. Now, it happens that that's equal to the rate at which the S&P 500 index is going up, 14% on average a year for 10 years running. So, the problem is inflation. Inflation's a phenomena whereby a government authority prints more currency, right? And why do they print more currency? Because if I want to pay $1 trillion bill, I either have to tax you $1 trillion or I have to print $1 trillion of money. Turns out that it's a lot easier to print money than it is to tax people. And so it's either inflation or taxation. Every single coinage system, every monetary system ever established collapsed because of inflation. The currency is to the economy what your blood is to your body, and economic energy or money is to the currency what oxygen is to your blood. So common sense says if I keep sucking the oxygen out of the room, if I suck the oxygen out of the room, you're going to either suffocate or freeze to death. And if I keep sucking the economic energy out of the currency, the economy collapses. In the extreme, you get ripped back to Stone Age barter, right? When the money doesn't work anymore, I have to trade you cigarettes for bullets. And the problem with that is the economy becomes 1,000,000 times less efficient, right? If you don't have money. Now, how many countries in the world have a collapsed currency? 66 are dollarized. There's 180 about countries. There's 130 floating currencies. All of them are weaker than the dollar. The US dollar is the world's reserve currency. The US dollar is expanding. It was expanding 10% a year for a decade, now expanding at 14% a year. It expanded 34% over the past 12 months. The dollar is weakening. It's like the oxygen is getting sucked out of the room. So Tucker, if I told you the oxygen is getting sucked out of the room and there's an oxygen mask drops out of the ceiling over there, what would you do?
Run for it.
Yeah, put the oxygen mask on. Bitcoin is the oxygen mask. What is Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is the world's first engineered monetary system. And what happened is a set of engineers, nameless engineers, recoiled in horror after the great financial crisis with all the bank bailouts. And they looked and they said, this just isn't fair. It isn't right. We want to create a better money. And they used two technologies. They used the internet, the idea that I could network hundreds of thousands or millions of computers. And they used cryptography, the idea that I could cryptographically sign something so that it could not be tampered with anyone, friend or foe. And using those two technologies, they conceptualized the idea of an immutable ledger, if you will, a bank in cyberspace. What if 100 people got together, 100 people with money got together and they said, we're going to create a bank in cyberspace and we want to put our money there and we don't trust each other, we don't trust the government, we don't trust any corporation, we don't even trust any one computer. So we create a program that keeps track of a ledger, 21 million coins or shares in the bank, divisible by 100 million, called this down to a Satoshi. So 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis. You don't have to know that. All you need to know is there's 21 million coin units. You can't make any more. And they wanted to create it. They could send their money to each other, to anybody in the network. They could store it for 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 1,000,000 years, forever. and they don't have to trust anybody. So they created this idea of Bitcoin. It's an asset that's protected by cryptography, and it's stored on a ledger. The software administers the ledger. The twist is we distributed the software on thousands and thousands of separate computers. Every Bitcoin node is running a copy of the ledger. So everybody in the world that has their money in the bank has a copy of all of the money in the bank and all the transactions since the beginning of time. So it's the immutable truth. Every 10 minutes, the system batches a set of transactions and then redistributes the money based upon the instructions of the owners. If I want to send you my Bitcoin, I send it and it goes to you, and every single computer on the network updates that, and they all check it cryptographically using modern encryption. So Bitcoin is a decentralized piece of software. The brilliance of it is it's a bank in cyberspace that nobody controls, nobody can corrupt. It's a bank run by incorruptible software offering a global, affordable, simple, secure savings account for everybody on Earth that has neither the means nor the inclination to run their own hedge fund. You have some money, you have life savings, you simply don't want to lose it. You want to put it in a bank. So Bitcoin is that bank in cyberspace.
So there's Michael Saylor urging us to realize the power of Bitcoin as a transformative force in the world of finance that offers a solution to the recurring flaws and vulnerabilities of traditional monetary systems. While traditional currencies rely on trust with the issuer, whether it's a government, bank, or authority figure, this trust has often been abused, leading to currency debasement and collapse. Bitcoin addresses these issues by being decentralized, transparent, and secure. With Bitcoin, we seize control of our financial destiny, forging a path towards a more equitable and prosperous future for us all. Once again, before we go, a quick reminder for those who want to stay updated in the fast-paced world of crypto and Bitcoin. Consider subscribing to our daily 5-minute crypto newsletter. It's a concise resource for the latest expert predictions, breaking news, and top on-chain analysis, trusted by over 50,000 subscribers for insightful crypto investment information. Don't miss out on the opportunity to stay informed in the crypto market. The link is in the description below. Anyway guys, hope you all enjoyed today's video and that provided you with some value. I'll see you all in the next one, and as always, all the best.